Welcome to Blender add-on development for beginners. In the previous video, we saw how we could work with an add-on that consists of multiple files. One of the reasons we wanted that is because we want our add-on to display a custom icon for the button that lets the user remove the active preset. Blender comes with a large collection of icons, and you see what is available by opening a Python console inside Blender. And when you click on the icon viewer, you get an overview of all available items. And when you click one, you get its name. You can even search, but unfortunately we only have icons for presets and preset new, but not something for preset remove. So how do we create a custom one? There are two parts to this. The creative bit, that is designing an icon that we can use, and adding a bit of code to load and use that icon. Now, I'm no graphical designer, so my idea was to simply grab the icon for preset new and adapt that so that instead of a plus, it shows a minus. Fortunately for us, all of Blender is open source and readily available, even the icons, so I downloaded the SVG file for the preset new icon and tweaked it in Inkscape. All I needed to do is change the path that defines the plus into a minus and invert the colors from white to black. I then just saved it in the icons subfolder with the name preset remove svg. Icons may be PNG files too, so if Inkscape is not your thing and you'd rather work in GIMP or similar, just open the original SVG in GIMP, edit it, and then save it as a PNG. Just remember to keep the background transparent. Also, icons don't have to be just black and gray. You can use any colors you like. But to keep things in line with the rest of Blender's user interface, grayscale is the preferred for buttons. Now let's look at the code. The new icon isn't loaded automatically, so in the utils module we define a load icons function that we will call when we register the add-on. Icons are referred to in Blender as previews, and the code to work with them is available in the bpy.utils.previews module. In a more complex add-on, we might have multiple related collections of those previews, for example, icons for operators, icons for tools, etc. So a bit overkill perhaps for this add-on, but we do define a dictionary to hold all those collections so that we can refer to each of them with a meaningful key. The first thing we do in the load icons function is to define a new preview collection. Next, we figure out the path to the location of the icons folder. The built-in Python file variable gives us the full path to the current file, utils.py that is, and with the help of a path object from Python's pathlet module, it is straightforward to get to the icons folder that sits at the same level of the current file. We then iterate over all entries in the directory with the iter_dir method. Check if such an entry is a file and not another subdirectory or something, and also check if the file name has an SVG extension. If you would rather work with PNG files, you would need to adapt the code here. The result is a list of file names in the icons variable. Then we loop over each item in the lists. An icon needs a name, and we use the stem of the file name for this. That is the file name without extension or path. And then use the load method to load the image into our preview collection. Now this load method expects a file name as a string, so we cannot pass it the path object directly, hence the conversion to string. Also, during development something might go wrong, so I like to put in a print statement here with some information. You might remove this in the final code, or perhaps do some proper exception handling, but this is okay for now. Once we are done loading, we store our collection of icons in the preview collections dictionary with the key operator icons. Again, a bit overkill for just one collection of one icon, but it shows a common pattern. Let's have a quick look at the register and unregister functions we have defined in the init.py file. Register is simple. The only thing we have to do is import the load icons function and call it in the register function. We could leave it at that, but it's best practice to free up any memory used by any previews we loaded when the user disables the add-on. That's why we also imported the previous collection dictionary so that we can refer to that in the unregister method. I probably should have put it in a separate function, but because it's only a few lines of code, I put it in the unregister function directly. We simply loop over the items in the dictionary and use the previous.remove function to free all associated memory. The print function we see here is again an aid in debugging, and we ignore any exceptions. Now that the add-on loads our custom icon, let's see how we can use it. The button for removing the active preset is used in our preferences panel, so let's see what needs to be changed there. It is all the way down in the draw method, and all we have to do is locate our custom icon and then pass its icon ID as the icon value argument to the operator method of the layout, instead of using name of a built-in icon with the icon argument. Just to be safe, we added a fallback if anything at all goes wrong, in which case we still use the built-in X icon. The end result, when we look at the preferences for our add-on, is a proper icon in the same style as the built-in one for a new preset. I hope you agree that it is pretty straightforward to add custom icons and that this video showed you how little code is needed to use them. I really believe that these kind of details add to the professional look of any add-on, so it might be a good idea to consider once your add-on is functioning properly. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.